Here we are.
Do.
And welcome back to Chiropractic is Sexy. I am Dr. Paula Ruffin.
And I'm Dr. Erica Peabody, and we're excited to be here.
Absolutely. And man, today we're going to dive deeper into what we've been dripping out to the prior couple of weeks, but talking about you can't fake healthy, beauty, aging, and alignment, and what that actually means for you, and how most people think of beauty versus actual health. So I'm really looking forward to this topic.
Me too. You guys, I was just talking to Dr. Paula for a second. I got new glasses and now it looks to me like I'm wearing goggles. So excuse me while I try and get used to myself in this different look. So anyway, yes. So health from the inside out. And I've had so many conversations this week because people, quite frankly, and this is probably why it came up in your practice too. It's like people they're sick of it. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired, feeling sick and tired. They feel like there's a different way, a better way. And now they are finding that chiropractic is the way, in our offices is the way, functional medicine is the way, and nutrition is the way. And it is so, I got to tell you, it's so rewarding for it to start to come in such a massive wave right now, because people are like, I don't want to be sick this whole holiday season. I want to feel good, be good, and be well. So I'm sure that's why it's coming up for you as well.
And it's interesting because this is also the time, and I had this conversation with a patient this morning. It's the time of year when people will say, I get sick every year at this time. I don't know what it is. And I had a patient this morning and I said, well, we got to make sure you stay adjusted. That's first and foremost. Also, are you taking vitamin D? She goes, no. And I said, okay, and are you taking C? No, I don't take anything. You guys, you have to take something. You're not going to make it through without adding the foundational nutrients, because we just don't have, our bodies don't get enough from food. We're not out in the sun. Everybody here, there is a flu season. So the reason we have a flu season is because we're not outside. And of course, those of you who do spend a lot of time outside, when you slather up with sunscreens, you're still not getting the beneficial vitamins from the sun. So then you get here and now your tank is empty. And vitamin D is absolutely number one thing that you need for immune function. And so, truly coming from the inside out, you've got to either be in the sun or taking your vitamin D, because antibiotics and steroids, that's not where it's at. That's not where it's at.
No,
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, so I have a patient that was in yesterday and she's been under care for, I don't know, maybe 2 years at this point. And she's really struggling with sleep and all the things. So anyway, she said to me yesterday, she's like getting a handle on stuff. And she said, I think, that's how she said it. And I put a message out to her this morning. I think that I might be able to go to sleep now without having to take any supplements. Like that was, and the supplements are like magnesium and it's like the normal stuff, vitamin D, not at night, but, and it's like, and I sent her an audio message this morning and I said, it's so interesting how you put that. And what I want to bring up is the fact that not taking supplements, it's not a heroic way of going, right? So we don't have to be somehow like taking less supplements is a heroic move. It's not. And here's why. We cannot get what we need from what we're eating. We can't get it. It's not there. Our soils are for crap. The stuff that we're eating comes from long distances, even when you're trying to be conscious about it. And so I sent her a message and I said, it's not a time and place to put a cape on and stop taking the necessary supplements. We're not taking sleep supplements. She's not taking melatonin. Like, she's not taking that stuff. And if you're not taking supplements, this is really what I want to say, and turn your hearing aids up in the back there. You're loading a gun for your future. You just are. It's slow, but not having the proper support for our world and our life and our health, it's not okay anymore. It's not okay.
Well, you bring up a good point. And so I do want to talk about, so we're talking about health coming from the inside, and yet we just talked about taking supplements. But you guys, let's address that here in a minute. But let me lay out this concept to you in chiropractic called above, down, inside, out. And that is that we have an innate intelligence that comes from above. Call it God, call it universal, call it whatever you want. But innate intelligence animates me, right? So I think I asked last week, what's the difference between me and dead me? Me, all of this right here, right? And so it's above, and then it comes down into our bodies, and it animates us, and it helps us to be healthy, and then it goes out. So above and down, and then it goes to the inside, and then out. And so health is radiating out from us. And when we talk about those supplements, what we're doing is we're putting nutrients in. We're not going to, if you take an antibiotic or a steroid, that is going to deplete, and then health doesn't come out from that. But you put vitamin D, you put vitamin C, you put magnesium, you put all of your good nutrients in. What you're doing is you're supporting what your body needs to then animate and express health from the inside and out. So you just want to make sure, like, if people are coming at us going, you said you should, that health comes from the inside. What do you think about supplements? So that's why we're saying that, is that we do have to support, because of what Dr. Erica said, the soils are they're just for shit these days.
Yeah. So good question. What do you feel about a cod liver oil? Absolutely every single day. And we need that level of omega fatty acids. So the cellular walls, so every single cell, we're like 7 trillion cells or something. I don't know how many cells our bodies are made out of, but the cell wall is made out of fatty acids. And so it's going to take fats out of your diet to create cell walls. And cells don't fix cells, they replace cells. So if you have constant bombardment of fats that are more like toxin and inflammatory to the body, those cell walls are going to be built out of toxins and inflammatory substances. If you have really good cod liver oil, plus also like coconut oils and olive oil and like good MCT oils, really good healthy oils, those fats will be broken down, and the cells will use those as building blocks. And the healthier the building blocks are, the healthier the body. Again, inside out. And our bodies I think we have a brand new body every 7 years. Every single one of our tissues gets replaced every 7 years, the whole system. So what we're doing with it, like I have a guy who did floors for me 8 years ago and 7 years ago here and at my home. So I had him over yesterday to look at my floors at my home. And so he's had many health issues. He started with a stroke and a heart attack. Then he had diverticulosis, and had 18 inches of his colon removed. And through all of that, he had to clear his entire diet, get only everything that's good on board. And I got to tell you, I haven't seen him he was here 2 years ago for my floors, to finish the floors upstairs. I haven't seen him in 2 years. Prior to that, he was very, very living in the toxins. He lives in the polyurethane and all of that. This guy, I'm not kidding you, he has aged in reverse, 10 years aged in reverse. Now, it took him a medical crisis to get to that place, but I'm like, oh my gosh, Gary, like, you can see the health. He's got this gorgeous blue eyes. He's a shorter guy. His hair has grown back in. His hair used to be like gray and craggly. Now it's like this beautiful head of hair, and his eyes are bluer than I've ever seen. His skin he's radiant for a guy who's been doing floors for 50 years. He's like definitely upper 60s or 70s for sure.
That's amazing.
And he's had to make all those changes with his insides, and it came right out of his face. It's incredible.
And that's how it is. And so I guess that's a good place for me to tell the story of what sparked this. A couple of weeks ago, I was at the gym, and if you watched last week, you saw that that I told this story briefly, because I said we were going to dive further into it today. But I was walking to the drinking fountain, and I saw this woman who she's a little older than me. but also has done very great things for herself. You could see, same thing. She started exercising. She started eating better. She was losing weight, just really moving her body, getting better sleep. Menopausal woman, and it's coming out in her face and her body and her skin. And so she said to me, she goes, "Oh my God, you look amazing. What work have you had done?" And I go, "Work? What are you talking about?" And she goes, "Your face, you've had Botox, right?" And I go, "No, I have not." And I didn't know if I should be insulted or flattered, because I'm like, but this is this world that we're living in today, is that so many women are like, I want to look younger. I want to look better. And so I'm going to go have this outside shit, botulinum toxin. Let's just establish what that is. It is not without side effects. It has no benefit other than doing this to your face and making you have no emotional expression whatsoever with your face. And so I was like, yeah, I can't believe you. Like, I'm thinking, you've actually accused me of having Botox, and you see me in the gym busting my ass every day. Like, so it's just really interesting to me that also Botox, there was a point in time when it was like kind of taboo to talk about. And now it's almost like if you're not doing it, you're out of the loop.
Right.
But this didn't happen overnight. Like, you can't just be like, well, I want to have better skin. I want to have less wrinkles. I want to have a glow to my skin, and then just go to the gym a couple of times and go, it's not working.
Right.
And I think that's where people fall short, is it's the discipline, the consistency, the commitment to actually do something and rebuild. Like you said, 7 years through, it might take 7 years. It might take a year. But if you do not start today, you'll never know.
Silly dog. They keep us young too, for sure. So I have noticed, our state. So we're in Michigan, and it tends to be, I just want to call it, generally speaking, a little bit on the sedentary side. And one of the things that is going on is when you look around, and we look around, and the bodies don't look that healthy, but the hair looks fabulous and the face looks fabulous. There's a disconnect there. So there's a lot of things that you can do with the hair and the face that will sort of mimic or make you look healthy, but it's not coming from truly in the cellular level. And so I was just thinking about that as I think about specific patients, and the level of inflammation on the body it's palpable for us. You can feel it, like the tissues don't move. The cells are all full of water like held inside of the cells, and then you become inflamed, symptoms of all sorts. And inflammation is truly the base of all disease, is inflammatory process. And when we can feel it in the tissues, like when patients go face down on the table, and I can feel the upper spine feels literally like a boulder, like there's no tissue movement at all in there. And we start working, and they got to make decisions on their side. I had one of my patients that's definitely very heavy, have her eye doctor tell her the other day, your eyes have a lot of inflammatory tissue. And now she's been under care for 4 or 5 years at this point. It's not stuff that we haven't talked about. But now that her eye doctor said blah, 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 and this and that, it's like,
now it's okay to talk about?
Now it's okay to take action. Because, if you're potentially going blind, or you have pressure in the eyeballs that are going to push into the eye structure and then therefore compromise the function, now it's okay to talk. I'm like, yep. All I say is yep, because at least it's getting through from somewhere. I would love to say I told you so, and I would never say that to somebody, except for unless they're a really good friend of mine. Like, I would tell Dr. Paula, I told you so, but I would never tell my patients, I told you so. Like, we have to, you're loading the weapon, you're loading the actual gun, you're putting the bullet in the chamber. And if you're not doing the right things, you're setting yourself up for a disaster.
Yeah, it really has to be a commitment. And there was a book that I read years ago called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. Did you ever read that book?
No, it
So
sounds like a good
great.
one though.
So great. And there's this, he's a, just real quick before I tell that story, I'm trying to share links from my YouTube channel. So there was a message earlier about magnesium and which magnesium should I take. And I tried to put that link in there. But if you go to the playlist nutrition on my YouTube channel, I don't know why it's not allowing me to share. So I did try to share two videos. One is how to choose the best supplement, and the other one is which form of magnesium to choose. So that's going to answer that question. It's we could answer it briefly, but it's kind of a whole topic on its own.
Yeah, it is. It needs a whole show.
Yes. But to answer this question, or let me talk about one that sold his Ferrari. So is this very high powered attorney, tons of stress. He smoked, he drank, just, never saw his family. His wife divorced him. His kids wouldn't speak to him. It's really a wonderful book, actually. I know, but just going to give it to you quickly. And so he ends up, he has a heart attack, and he kind of disappears for a while. And he had this young guy that was sort of he was mentoring coming up into the ranks of the legal field. And so suddenly he shows up one day, and his protege did not recognize him. And he's literally wearing like a monk's robe, shaved his head. He was tan. His skin was like glowing. And, the story goes that he went to go figure out his health. He'd lost a ton of weight. He started to meditate. He was exercising. He was eating differently. He got rid of the stress in his life. And he sold his Ferrari. And so, because he didn't need it, it wasn't part of what he needed to be healthy. And so he comes back, and the book is about the lessons that he helps this young protege learn through the course of him going through that. So it's really a cool story, and that anyone can change at any time, but you just have to be willing to do the work. And I think we get so comfortable in our, oh, but I love my ice cream after dinner. What am I going to do without it? And I'm like, well, you're going to die with it. So that's,
Right.
You can't accomplish a better place in life with the same habits that took you to the place of shit. Like it doesn't work that way. And we want you to be able to, okay, you have ice cream once in a blue moon. Right. We want you to be able to do that. We want you to be able to have a treat or a snack here and there. But most of you are living your lives on a daily basis and only having the good stuff as often as you should have the bad stuff.
Right.
And so we've got to make this flip flop to get you back. So you're expressing life from the inside. So all your cells heal. It was a great description of what Dr. Erica gave about our cells and our cell health. And we have fluid inside our cells, but the problem is when we become so toxic, the fluid comes out of the cells, and our cells go from being a grape to a raisin. And when you have raisin-like cells, your body doesn't function properly. It's where all your energy is produced. It's how your DNA is transcribed. It's how your hormones are created on a daily basis. It's all the energy that you need to be able to live this vibrant, vital life. And so you cannot walk around with raisin-like cells. We need to turn them back into grapes, which is why you got to step into your own power and start doing the things to support that.
I don't know who I was listening to, or I feel like it was somebody that I was talking to that was talking about health. And there was somebody that was working under him, and he was kind of like a mentor. And this mentee, I guess you could call it, came to him, and he was, and I wish I could remember exactly who this was, but this mentee was eating Doritos and drinking a Monster drink. And I don't know if it's in my coaching or where it was, but anyway, the doc said to this young man, he said, I'm not going to talk to you. I cannot believe you're putting that crap in your body right now. So if you want to go and get rid of that stuff first and never have that again, then I will happily step into your mentorship. But that's really how it is. It's like go through the grocery line. And I got to tell you guys, once, I don't know, every half a year, I will get a little bag of Doritos because there's something comforting about that. But it's like one little bag twice a year, maybe. Or I'll take 2 bites of it and be like, why am I eating this? And then I'll throw it out. But there's a comfort there. There's like a childhood comfort there.
Memory.
Add that stuff from time to time. And so I do understand that, and we're never perfect. But I was also at a networking event with another patient that is on the more overweight side. And I didn't know that she had Monster drinks on a daily basis. And just because they're available and convenient and cheap and all gets you good energy, you guys, we gotta stop, because that is what you put that in your body. And I was like, what in the world was that? And I don't know what that was. So be sure to bind it all up with inflammation, like whatever this is, get it out. So all the inflammatory process goes there. And, another thing that patients will tell me too, is as they sit down to Thanksgiving dinner, once they've been clear and have like cleared up their life, they'll sit down and they'll go again for the comfort food, not the Dorito in my case from time to time, but they'll go for the comfort food that's on the plate, on the table. And they're like, I could literally feel the spots in my spine that have been irritated because I'm more into feeling and can feel better. I could feel them literally like small bonfire being set in that spot. And that's what the body's doing. All that inflammatory stuff is going to the body and setting small bonfires everywhere. And we got to stop. Let's not do that.
I had a patient this morning, and I started her on a detox about 3 weeks ago. And we had a follow-up nutrition appointment today after her adjustment, and she's got a thyroid issue. And so I have her gluten-free. She has like Hashimoto's, so like no joke thyroid. And so I have her gluten-free, dairy-free. I have her using the medical foods that I use along with a very clean diet. And originally she was like, oh, but this is one of the biggest ones I get is, but I need my creamer in my coffee. And normally it's not just like half and half. I'm like, if you can do heavy cream or half and half, I'm okay with that. Yeah. But most people need the crap with the crap in it. Yeah. And the gums and the stabilizers, or they'll buy like non-fat, hazelnut half and half. And I'm like, non-fat half and half isn't a thing. Like just think about this, right? Yeah. So anyway, God bless her, she went off to the internet and she found a product that has like coconut, has collagen and MCT oils and mushroom and whatever. And she goes, would this be okay? And I go, yeah, actually that looks really good. I was really proud of her. And she's using it in her coffee now. And she goes, oh my gosh, it actually is really good. And I'm enjoying it. And she said she went out to dinner a couple of weeks ago. She goes, I'm actually looking at, because she babysits her grandkids. And she goes, I'm looking at the snacks and I'm looking at that one little piece of chocolate. And I'm asking myself, I don't really want to put that sugar back in my body. I've been doing so well cleaning it up. And I'm like, she's only 3 weeks in. She's down 10 pounds. I did a body comp test on her today. She's down almost 6 pounds of excess fluid, which is inflammatory. Her cellular health is improving. She's going from a raisin to a grape. Like, it's so freaking cool. And then she said to me, she went out to dinner with her family. And they gave her a piece of like homemade sourdough bread. And she was like, oh, it looked so good. And I thought, I'll have one bite. She had one bite. And she said within an hour, she was so bloated. She felt terrible. And I go, I said, that's the problem with thyroid, is it attacks thyroid autoimmunity. Your body attacks everything that looks like gluten. Mm-hmm. People with thyroid issues 100% have a gluten intolerance, and they attacks the thyroid because the thyroid looks like gluten. So for anybody listening out there, that would be something good to do, is to start to eliminate, but you got to look at all the sources too. It's not just the bread. right?
No,
So
for all of it. And when Dr. Paula says that that gluten mimics thyroid, that it's the end chain amino acid. So the amino acid of the gluten and the amino acid that makes the thyroid, they're similar. So when the body starts attacking the gluten, it mistakes that it's just taking that message at the end and saying, oh, this, and this, and thyroid's the target. So it is really, really, really important. And the other part is I just think about like a couple of the two that I mentioned that are overweight. I'm just so grateful that they also have added chiropractic care in. When we talk about fight or flight, a lot of times we're going towards the comfort foods and the inflammatory things because we're in a fight or flight, and the adjustment itself brings that level of stress down, and helps the body, and it just gives you more bandwidth. So we have story upon story upon story upon story, but the health coming from the inside out, from above down, just and truly above, like Dr. Paula said, but also from our brain down. So the brain is connected to everything through that information superhighway, as we've talked about so many times, the spinal column, our spinal cord, that's housed in the spinal column. And that's why the adjustment is so important. But when you start, and I feel it too, I shared a little bit about my own healing crisis over the last year. And from it's now the health, I can feel it. It's now the health coming from the gut out, and the gut out to the cells and out to the skin and out to everything else. And then obviously the elimination process, what I put in. I had a simple almond milk latte yesterday, Tuesday, decaf, just because, like you said earlier, you're like, I don't need more coffee, but I just like, we got to have a little vice, and organic espresso or whatever. It's pretty legitimate.
So yeah.
So I had an almond milk, and my body is inflammatory around
You
almond.
don't like almonds.
And it's inflammatory around it, but I was like, I don't know.
I meant her body doesn't like almonds. That's
No.
it. Yeah.
I love almonds, but I cannot have it. And it was within about 7 to 10 minutes, I could feel my gut starting right where it was connecting, and to the intestine, like where my stomach and intestines connect, the ileocecal valve there. And that's like a dead giveaway. It's like red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. And unfortunately, I didn't drink it all. And I also didn't dump it out. And I spilled it all over the inside of my car the very next morning.
Sure.
I know. I was all right, I get it. I'll never order that again.
Well, to address the almond issue, so this happens to us. It happens to you guys. So Dr. Erica, I'm gonna out a little bit of something, but she was eating these almond crackers because they're gluten-free, they're organic, they should be super healthy. And for the longest time, she was not connecting the fact that her pain was being caused by the very food that she was eating. And she doesn't have to eat that many crackers to trigger this thing. Like you said, a couple of drinks of this almond milk. So that's where, when people are doing all the things, it's really difficult to tell what are the things, what are the top things. And so it's important to do an elimination diet. So then you can say, okay, let's just scrape back the layers. Let me eat super clean. And then we can add things back in one at a time for 3 days and see, or not even one at a time, just a sip of something or a bite of sourdough bread and see how your body responds. You've got to listen to your body. But the noise, there's so much noise and so much interference, and like, what is that? Your nervous system can't hear things properly when it's not clear, when the messaging can't get through the information superhighway. So start to clean up metabolically, getting to the chiropractor so we can clear up the nervous system and get that going. So now your messaging is that much better. So you're more sensitive. Your messaging system is more sensitive to when you put those things in. Your body's going to tell you before it becomes a crisis. So I did want to address this question real quick. I've had this up on the screen, but this whole, why couldn't you water fast your way to 10% body fat? And my question would be, why would you?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you? It's like saying you're going to cold plunge your way to health. Like my answer, I don't know, I'll let Dr. Erica answer this, but my answer would be like, no, because then what? Do you really know how to come out of a fast? How long would it take you to get down to 10% body fat? Where are you starting from now? And is that going to teach you how to actually eat for metabolic health? So no, teach yourself how to eat for metabolic health. And if you want to put the fasting in, you cannot fast your way out of a shitty lifestyle. I'm swearing a lot today, but it's just the truth. And I just get so like triggered when they're like, I just want a cold plunge and I don't want to quit smoking. I just want to do this and I don't want to quit this. I'm like, okay, yeah. Like you said that story about you can stop doing that and then we can talk.
Yeah, exactly. I loved that. I wish I could remember who had said that. But also speaking back to a water fast, because I did want to answer that. It's something that I've done a lot of research into and have thought about for a long time. But every time when we don't provide our body with nutrients, it goes into a major stress mode. We used to fast and famine, and I understand that, but I have a friend who's also a colleague, and he is able to go, not in a healthy way, but able to go, I think he did like 8 days or 9 days. And he is able to drop a lot of body fat, but he doesn't change his thought pattern and he doesn't change his habits to healthier habits. And he's one of our colleagues, and so he just puts.
Well, you're going to tell me who this is offline, right?
Yeah, he just puts on more weight and more inflammation. So the rebound on the other side of that, like it's better to do super healthy things, which another thing that I had to do was eliminate anything processed. So like if I wanted something like Dr. Paula in an earlier video this week was talking about eating a piece of dark chocolate, but like putting it on the tongue, letting it melt into the roof of the mouth, letting some of those chemicals be so close to the brain and allowing the body that. And so I'll usually do a square or 2 squares of dark chocolate a day just because I love that. And then I also, if I need something sweeter than that, I'll do a dried fig, which has all the textures and the flavors and those bitey, crunchy seeds and all of that. And that tends to be my kind of go-to rather than going. I love ice cream. Like that's one of my greatest loves is ice cream. But I just know the inflammatory process around it. So I don't allow myself that. But I just am like, well, what can I do that's not processed? What can I do that will give me some like texture and interest inside of what I'm consuming? And then with a piece of dark chocolate in the roof of my mouth, followed by a fig, dried fig is like, so yummy at the end of the day.
So well, and the fig, and then I do the same thing, but with dates.
Dates too.
And now think about it. You take a bite of that dry fig, or you take a bite of the date. You're not just like, you can't just pile that down. Like it takes a couple of minutes to chew it thoroughly. So it's the same concept as putting the chocolate on your tongue and allowing those chemicals to hit your brain to let you be satisfied in that moment. And so I think it's genius, you know, and yeah, chocolate with a fig.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. And then if I want a little bit something else, then it's like with a macadamia nut.
Yeah. Oh, right. Throw a nut on there. Come on. Oh, making me hungry.
I know. So it's just like a really delicious way to, and I'm not really a foodie, but sometimes I just want that at the end of the day for a little dopamine hit. And it's a whole lot better than going for whatever. So figuring out what that is. I also have recommended, because a lot of times people are just missing minerals when they're looking for sweets at the end of the day. Just, you know, like a good salt. Dr. Paul is like a salt nut, but salt in the center of the hand, put it on the tongue, let that permeate your existence. Yeah.
You guys have salt around.
Yes. Let that permeate your existence. And let that be some good brain signaling. So, and then allowing your body, the health coming from the inside out to really be a true expression, like to be in the late fourth decade of my life and to have the healthiest, strongest hair I've ever had in my entire life. What have you got there?
Oh my God. Was that a fig? Literally. Okay, so these are wild harvested black walnuts.
You had a fig in there?
Yeah, there was a fig in there. Oh my
That's
God, so freaking yummy.
So yeah, when your health comes out your body, and you see Dr. Paula she's a whole decade older than I am, and there's like no age difference in us. There really isn't, and I can only hope to age that gracefully.
Thank you.
But it's like you can see it's oozing out of us.
Yeah, for sure. It's such a great compliment when you say that, because I'm like, you don't look a decade young. You look 2 decades younger than me. So that makes me then feel like, okay.
Yeah, we're trying to live forever. Actually, we're trying to live really, really healthy, good lives for all the years that we're here. Bringing that to you every single week. And I was thinking last week when we got off of here, and I'm not sure what sparked it, but thank you for being here, but also like thank you to Dr. Paula for us being able to riff with you guys like this, because we literally light ourselves on fire by just being able to be committed here and be here and share what we're sharing, because that's what we're doing all day long. And it's a really, really nice, like, do I have time for this? No, I'm trying to get out on vacation tomorrow. I would never miss this unless I absolutely had to.
And you guys know we've missed occasionally over the we're coming up on 2 years that we started this podcast. And so we're going to be doing our annual meeting where we're going to sit down and talk about, what do we need to do to really launch this thing forward? So any suggestions that you have, any topics that you'd like to see, things that we have talked about that you want us to unpack more, we are open to your ideas. And so our links to contact us are down in the show notes. And so please feel free to either leave a comment or connect with us in the show notes. And we love your feedback as we start to, unfold our show for next year as well. So, and again, yes, thank you so much for being here, because if you weren't here, we'd be here by ourselves still talking.
We would still be doing it. That's the funny part. We're like, that's how much it feeds us to be able to share what we're sharing. We are both chiropractors for a deep, deep reason of helping people live really good lives that we live, and getting ourselves adjusted too. But it's really nice to be sort of back. I don't want to say in like student mode, but like the spiz, or it's called spizzerinctum, if you guys really want to know. The enthusiasm for chiropractic that's the word. It's truly the word. And the spiz that we have because we're doing this is it's really, really, I can't wait for next year.
For sure. And it's interesting because, Dr. Eric and I talk about, we have almost 60 years between the two of us in experience. And, I'll be honest, I think both of us, we get a little, we're kind of getting a little bit of like, we see the miracles, but then it's the same thing all the time. Like we're doing the same thing each and every day. And after so many years, you're like, And so, yes, to be able to come on here and share stories and dive deeper into talking about the 33 principles and the education piece, like I learned something new, because also I get to hear Dr. Erica say really cool things, and I learn from her, and I know she learns from me. And so it really has breathed new life into how we look at being in practice. So Erica, thank you for being here.
Yes, we need to get Dr. Anna on here one of these.
For sure.
Get her on here, maybe in January, but.
Yes, for sure. Dr. Erica's inventing Scrabble words. It's a word. It's BJ. Was it Didi or BJ Palmer? I forgot.
Probably BJ. Probably.
Spizzerinctum. Right. So it was a word that BJ Palmer invented to describe the philosophy and the vibe and the juice of chiropractic. And so I do feel like we're in the spiz every time we come on here. So. I think any last parting words before you head to Cancun?
Oh my gosh, no. Hopefully, no. I'm excited. I'm going to hang with some colleagues, and hopefully she's not watching.
Oh yeah. Oh shoot. Whoopsie. We need to edit that out.
No, all good. All good.
Oopsie.
All good.
All right. Well, listen, have the best trip. I know I'll talk to you before then. Everyone, thank you so much for showing up in the comments and for showing up to us each and every week. Please make sure you're subscribing, liking, and sharing, and help us continue to grow and get our message out there. So thank you all so much for joining from whatever channel you're from. We appreciate you.
I'll
See ya.
soon.